Massive raids on enemy facilities in Odessa region continued throughout the week. Arrivals of 𝐑𝐮𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐚 drones were recorded both in Odessa itself and in Volgograd and Izmail. Russian troops operated in the locations where AFU aviation is based in various regions of Ukraine. Gerons attacked the airfields of Starokostiantyniv, Mirhorod, and Ozerne. Several arrivals of guided missiles 𝐒𝐤𝐫𝐚𝐢𝐷 in Vasilkiv. Ukrainian forces, meanwhile, struck at Russia's rear regions with long-range UAVs. In the Republic of Dagestan, a 𝐒𝐤𝐫-22 drone attacked a Russian Navy flotilla dock in the industrial zone of Kaspiysk. The ships suffered no damage. In addition, drone attacks on rear facilities of the fuel and energy complex resumed again. In Saratov, debris from one of the downed UAVs damaged a tank with flammable substances. The fire was promptly extinguished. In the Tula region, a group of 10 Ukrainian drones attacked the town of 𝐒𝐤𝐫𝐚. Some of them landed on the territory of a chemical plant. Another UAV struck a nearby thermal power plant. At the end of the week, enemy drones attempted to strike facilities in the Moscow region. Over 30 vehicles were intercepted, but a woman was injured when one of them fell. In the Glushkovsky district of Kursk Oblast, the Russian armed forces planted mines in the gaps in the defense line previously made by the AFU. In Suzhansky district, a Russian armored group attacked towards Staraya Sorochina, advancing several kilometers. On the Slobozhansky direction, fierce fighting continued in the area of the Travyansky Reservoir near Hliboke. On the opposite bank, AFU positions were hit, from where Russian servicemen were fired on. In the Kupiansk direction, the Russian armed forces fought on the southern outskirts of Zagrysovo and extended their zone of control west of Novoselovskoye. To the north, Russian troops were consolidating in the forest belt along Kolesnikivka, liberating most of the village. In the Lyman direction, attack aircraft in heavy fighting broke through enemy defenses in Terny, liberating up to a third of the village. To the north, Russian units reached the eastern outskirts of Pervomaiskoye and were advancing towards Vishnevoy. In the Siversk direction, there were fierce clashes north of Ivano-Darivka. In the course of a series of attacks, the Russian armed forces managed to advance several kilometers to the north in the direction of Verkhnokamianske. In the Artemivsk direction, Russian troops have successfully consolidated on the territory of the Yugo-Vostokhnaya mine. Thus, another bridgehead has been established on the opposite bank of the Seversky Donets-Donbass Canal east of Klishchika. On the Oleksandrovsk-Kalinova direction, clashes continued within the borders of the Dzerzhinsk agglomeration. There was heavy fighting in the city and the surrounding area, with the advance of the Russian armed forces complicated by Ukrainian FP-5 drone strikes. In the Pokrovsk direction, Russian troops continued their offensive west of Selidov towards Pokrovsk. During the week, they managed to liberate Hrigorivka and fight for Petrivka, as well as consolidate in Novo-Alexeyevka. On the Donetsk direction, the battles liberated Kremena Balka and most of Novodmitrivka. By the end of the week, the Russian armed forces advanced several kilometers in the southwestern direction, gaining a foothold in Sontsivka. To the south, Russian troops continued to encircle the AFU garrison on the northern bank of the Kurakivska Reservoir. During the week, the settlements of Vovchenka and Stepanivka were liberated, and they managed to gain a foothold in Ilyinka. In the South Donetsk direction, Russian troops liberated Katerinivka and started fighting on the eastern outskirts of Yelizavetivka. To the north, there was fighting in Antonivka, where the Russian armed forces gained control of about half of the village. To the southeast, Russian troops have made significant advances in the fields near Bohoyavlenka, clearing a chain of strongholds and forest belts. After consolidation, the Russian armed forces have the prospect of bypassing Trudov from the east and cutting into the AFU positions between the village and Vasily High. To the west, Russian troops knocked the enemy out of the forest belts at the 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚𝐢𝐚 line. Later, the attackers managed to gain a foothold on the approaches to Trudovoye, landing at the Kutorska Hora Preserve. On the Vremivka direction, the position battles continued on the approaches to Makeyarivka and in the Novodarivka area. The sides rotated and struck at identified positions and supply routes. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, Russian troops gradually expanded their zone of control north and east of Nestoryanka. Among other things, the AFU used drones to deliver supplies to remote positions. In the Kherson direction, the exchange of strikes along the Dnipro River continued. Every day, Russian troops hit the positions of Ukrainian forces on the right bank.